Welcome back to another episode of the Jackrabbit Illustrated Podcast. We're excited to have you join us today. Before we dive in, we'd like to thank our sponsors who help make this all possible. First off, a great big thank you to our title sponsor again for 2024, the Kubota dealers of South Dakota. Whether it's tractors, mowers, utility vehicles, construction, or farm equipment, Kubota's got you covered. With 9 convenient locations across the state of South Dakota and 1 in northwest Iowa, there's always a Kubota dealer nearby. Stop by your local Kubota dealer and see all they have to offer. All A Team shows are sponsored this year by Culver's of Brookings and Watertown, home of the Butterburger, fried cheese curds, signature root beer, and world famous custard. Culver's, welcome to delicious. Next, we would like to recognize the support of our other A Team podcast sponsors. Cubby Sports Bar and Grill, the best sports bar in South Dakota and home to the Jimmy Rogers Radio Show. Northwestern Mutual Wealth Management, see them for all your retirement and life insurance needs. And the Jackrabbit Former Players Association. And now, here is the A Team.
And we are back with the Jackrabbit Illustrated Podcast. Matt and Chad coming at you tonight.
What's up, Matt?
Hey, not a lot.
How are you feeling on this wonderful Sunday night? Oh, dude, what?
Yeah, you see Tucker's touchdown catch? That was incredible. Incredible.
Yeah, that would be nice to have right about now, huh?
Yeah. I'm trying to watch Mason's game right now, but I cannot get my TV down here to work. So I don't know.
6. They were up 0-3 last I checked. Have you seen a current score on that?
No, I have not been checking. So
it is 7-3. Sorry.
Okay, 7-3.
Yeah,
we are brought to you by the Kubota dealers of South Dakota. And I actually had my Kubota fired up this weekend. I moved some gravel around in my driveway, kind of getting it ready for winter, filled in some potholes for spring. So hopefully it gets pushed in before I have to run it through the snowblower, right? But man, I just saw as I was watching the NFL Sunday night countdown thing on NBC, a nice Kubota commercial. Man, they are just everywhere.
Speaking of Kubota being everywhere, I was up on the campus up in Fargo.
Okay.
And everywhere I looked, there was an orange side-by-side, everybody that wants to be a winner obviously goes with the best gear. I mean, I think that's what it comes down to, isn't it?
That's what it comes down to. So if you would like to be a winner and get yourself a Kubota, like Chad and myself, head to one of the Kubota dealers in South Dakota and that one across the border in Iowa. And they'll get you hooked up with what you need. So thank you, Kubota dealers of South Dakota, for your sponsorship. Next up, Culver's. Man, I could have used some like sorrow, pity, whatever ice cream last night. Cheese curds,
whatever you want
to make me feel better, right? Because man, I wrote this in that tweet, but I forgot how crappy it feels to lose the marker. But you know what always picks you up and makes you feel better is something from Culver's. So whether it's your favorite butter burger, your favorite side, if it's cheese curds or onion rings or the fries, or if it's that concrete mixer, Culver's has what you need, especially the ones in Brookings and Watertown. They're the best. So thank you, Culver's.
I don't always eat out that often where I'm near a Culver's, but last week, man, we had some of that custard. That stuff's so good. I mean, there's a reason that there's a certain dairy brand of fast food chains that can't call their stuff ice cream. It's the amount of butter fat, and the amount of butter fat's higher than ice cream and custard. So good.
There we go. Perfect. All right. So Chad, you were in Fargo. I was at home with my kids, which I'll tell you the story later, but I could have been in Fargo. I'm so stupid. But how was
it's closer for you than it is for me, thanks to Jim Poppin and company get me down, and Brendan get me up there with Ariel.
Perfect.
It was quite the fun time, and we had a good time. The atmosphere before the game was great. The fans were mostly cool. I mean, as per normal, right? We brought the pudding shots. We gave away the pudding shots. Raised some money. I won't necessarily call out any fan base, but we did have some people that were donating on the app, or so it looked like. And last I checked, there was actually only one of those donations that showed up. So we got some cash too. So it's cool. I mean, like Seth Meyer was saying, he was there with us at the Horny Bison tailgate, and We were talking about his picks last week for Dallas. That was kind of cool. Those guys, they do a great job. Got to shout out Brian Thompson too. He gave me a place to stay, gave me a ride home last night after the game. Stand up, dude. Thank you so much. Yeah. It was. I mean, it was great. It was a really good. It was a really good game, right? It really was. The
Yep.
unfortunate thing is we just tried really hard to give it away, and in the end, we did. Like I not to take away from them, they had some things that they could have scored on, or
Yep. Yep.
advanced the ball or whatever that I'm sure they would like to have back and do differently too. So it's not like we're completely outclassed or you know I think they're a really good team. 9 out of 10 times I like this matchup, but we got to get going through the air, right? I mean,
Mhm.
what's going on there? We need to figure it out. We need to figure it out this week. Like
Mhm.
we should have figured it out last week. Just my opinion, it's been off all year.
Yep.
And whether that's like, we were talking about it before this show, and maybe, I don't know if people understand, but we're here to be cheerleaders, sure, but we're not 100% homers on this show. It
Mhm.
Come here for that. You're not here for the right thing. I'm sorry. We never have been. We've always been honest. Like maybe with a touch of homerism, but
Mhm.
for the most part, we're going to be honest. We're not going to call out individual players and throw somebody under the bus. That's not really our style. That's not what we're here for. But if you've been with us long enough, and thanks to anybody that's new, if you've been with us for long enough, you know that we're just going to give you honestly. And so when you picked against us and people were coming at you, I'm like, really, guys? Like, really? It how do you not know Matt's heart? He started this whole thing to promote Jackrabbit football. He puts his heart and soul into it. He does all sorts of things behind the scenes that you guys don't even see. And and that's the thanks he gets. I mean, sorry, that's kind of how I feel about it. And it's frustrating. But back to our conversation beforehand, and I just want to finish that out. Hey guys, we're going to talk about things when they're not good, and we're going to point them out. And maybe the players don't like it, maybe the fans don't like it, maybe the parents don't like it, maybe the coaches don't like it. Okay, tough. Don't watch us then. I guess I'm sorry. We want everybody to be here and get along and be happy, but this isn't just a kumbaya show. Anyway, it seems to me that there's a disconnect that wasn't there last year, right? And some of that's new players, obviously, new schemes, new coaches. So we need to par that down to what is the problem, because something has to change, right? Some
Mhm.
change. Whether that is we're rolling the quarterback out when we should be having him step up in the pocket because now the 605 Hogs are playing better than maybe they were to begin with. Our receivers obviously have to catch the ball. If it hits you in the hands, catch the damn ball, bud. It's pretty simple. Maybe there's like, we talked about before the show. I said it. If you if you go into camp and you got two quarterbacks, they always say you have how many quarterbacks, right, Matt? What's the answer?
Yeah. Yep.
You got none, right? So
Yep.
actually, when you have two O coordinators, maybe that's part of the issue. I don't know. I'm not saying for sure. I'm not on the team, and I'm not a giant football mind. I'll be the first one to tell you my football IQ is probably the lowest on this podcast, but I can see that it's been wrong all season, and we've tried to politely point it out, but it's time to fix it. I don't know what that is. The coaches are smarter than me. You got to fix it. We have plays from last year's playbook. If we got to use them, let's use them. I don't care. Like, whatever it takes to move the ball down the field in the air, we need to do a better job than what we've been doing against quality opponents, right? I mean, some of the lesser opponents we've had no problem, but as it should be, right? Let's change something, guys. That's all I'm asking for. Figure out what's not working and try and change that. I think we have the talent. Like I said, we had every opportunity to win that game. We didn't, whether it was an overthrown ball or a person out of position. I mean, you talked about it in Rants and Raves. You had what, 10 different items?
10 things that could possibly be wrong with our passing game.
So pick out a half a dozen of them and fix them.
Yeah.
You know,
right?
penalties would be the easiest one to fix, right?
Yes. Yep.
Let's do that one for sure. And I mean, if you guys haven't read Rants and Raves, Matt puts a lot of time into that. And if you miss it, man, you really don't understand all the things that go into what we do with these shows.
Yeah.
I guess I ranted. Sorry.
Yeah, that was good. That was good, Chad. I should have started the timer, man. No,
I love this team, heart and soul, and
Yep.
I'm behind them 100%. Did I have some doubt whether or not we were going to win this game? Absolutely. We talked at the beginning of the year.
Yep.
We've talked about a lot in our chat. We predicted one of these deals where we lose in the Fargo Dome, we get a return game later in the playoffs, and we do to them to what they did to us. You know, after the game, I had half a dozen NDSU fans as I'm walking down the street. Hey man, how's it feel? You know, they were young kids. They get the benefit of the doubt. And I'm like, that's not an insult, dude. I've been here a long time. This is not the worst that it's ever felt. Come back to me in the playoffs when our season's over. Then it'll really suck.
Yeah.
But for right now, like Jimmy said in his post game, it's just one game. We need to move on. We need to learn and move forward.
Yeah, it does crack me up a little bit. You know,
sorry, I wasn't running the comments.
No, you're
both
fine.
my hands are off the
going.
mice. Look at that.
I've been going. You're good. And
yes, special teams was terrible. Kyle, you're right. But they've been not lights out the entire year. It sucks that you put all your freaking mistakes into one game. Like kick catch interference. Good Lord, that was definition of don't touch that guy.
Yeah, I don't know what Kobe was doing on that one. That one was pretty wild.
I mean, we all make mistakes, right? You got to. The guy's a
right?
great player. You got to give him the benefit of the doubt. He obviously didn't mean to cause a penalty, but we just gotta, you know, right up here. It's a gray matter between your ears.
Yeah,
just a little bit more.
I don't even know where to start, Chad, on this. You covered a lot of ground there.
Did I breathe? Because I'm not sure. I feel like I've ran a marathon now. I'm just kidding.
Right. I'm going to start here with Jordan Fink's question here. This is good. Does anyone think NDSU is unbeatable? Because even with all the mistakes, penalties, and aversion to the forward pass, they still had the lead with 3 minutes to go. Exactly. I think this is what's frustrating for folks, right, Jordan, is that this game was one that we should have won. Like we should have. You know, I predicted NDSU to win, like Chad said, but hoping SDSU would win, and throughout the game being pretty happy we were up, not happy with all of the missed opportunities and miscues that we had. Going back to some of the points now that people are making here. Someone earlier mentioned who's calling the plays. We believe it is Ryan Olsen. We believe it's Ryan Olsen. That's the understanding of the process. He talked about a couple of weeks ago with Tyler Merriam, how he was getting more comfortable with calling plays when he was on for the Jimmy Rogers show, and just how that's been a process of learning all of that goes into the timing of it and whatnot. So he's trying there. Chad, you mentioned Mark rolling out too much. I think Kyle mentioned that as well in his comment. Right? We had a discussion in our group chat of, geez, is the offensive line not playing well, or is Mark just having happy feet? And to me, both live and rewatching it, I thought he had happy feet. That, in my opinion, that's
or
my
is it
opinion.
a designed roll? I mean, that could be
designed
rollout too.
But I don't know. But and that's the thing that's frustrating. If it is designed, like, stop calling it, because NDSU was waiting there with the ends. Like, that's the thing. Like, their ends played that game really well.
They have really high quality D line play, including their ends, right?
Yep. And then, you know, the next point, someone brought up wide receivers getting separation downfield. So is that our receivers just aren't running their routes properly? Or is that the play design not getting guys open? Because man alive, there has to be some ways to get guys open. And we don't know, right? Because we don't get to see the whole field. We don't get to see the all 22 or the tight camera angles that allow you to see how concepts are developing. So that's the tough part. And a lot of us during the game, we're commenting like, damn, let's get Griffin Wilde the ball. Like, he's our best playmaker. Let's get him the ball somehow. And we did in the second half. We tried a little more, but it can't be all the way or halfway through the third quarter before we give him an opportunity to get the ball in his hand. Like, it just can't. I'm sorry. Unless he's hurt and we don't know about it. Like, and then, and it is interesting to me, the freshman, Lofton Ogroski, right?
Yeah.
I'm very interested in that because wide receiver is a position where I thought we did have some depth. So for a freshman now to be playing in a game like that tells me other guys are getting passed up on the depth chart. That's not a good thing at this point in the season. I don't mind playing freshmen, but I think that was his first catch from Mark. He had another catch in mop-up time earlier. But I don't know. I'm glad he performed. He made that big first down catch. He looks like a player. Tanner pointed him out in summer camp. So we'll go with that. I do think personally, I thought the offensive line did pretty well pass blocking. I really did. So I don't know anything else about our pass game. I wish we could see the all 22 or the tight film because that would tell us a lot of what's going on, Chad. But we don't know.
No, and I couldn't even watch a dang replay because it was on ESPN2, and so ESPN Plus, which I have, doesn't have that until tomorrow. So a lot of good that'll do for this podcast.
I want to talk about Scott's point here, quick.
Yeah.
So our team needs more rhythm on offense, and that comes with efficient play calling and playing clean. Absolutely. I pointed this out in Rants and Raves too, but I need to say it again. Our play callers aren't telling guys to hold or jump off sides or, Chase Mason, bless him, to throw the ball 5 yards down the field. Like, that's not on the offensive coordinators.
7 yards.
Right? It's just that's the frustrating part. We get mad about the play callers and they take a lot of heat. But the players also have to execute what's going on here. And I'm not trying to cover for any of the coaches because, God, we've talked about the coaches having some issues or something's going on with that too. But the disjointedness of what's going on is not okay. The tight ends lining up wrong multiple times. Yep, Kyle pointed this out in his recap that he does. Absolutely. The tight ends, we're growing, we're learning. Those guys are young. But gosh, we're 7 games into this thing. We got to be getting that playbook figured out for sure.
But to your point on Rants and Raves, how can a guy really get good rhythm if he's not getting enough, enough reps in a game? Pick 2, pick 3, go with it. And I mean, maybe they're all really that close and awesome if they are, but and somebody was talking about how Mark had some really good passes, no doubt. It's part of this, and what makes it super frustrating is he's literally the reigning player of the year in the FCS, and he went from that to frustratingly stuck with no options to pass to. I'm sure he's frustrated too, is what I'm trying to say. So I don't. It's obviously not all him. He's not. I don't care what Kyler might say. He's not that much of a stinking system quarterback. You're just wrong. He did have great options, no doubt. And the Yankees block like awesome. That helped our run game. All these things. It does matter, but that was abysmal, the performance in the passing game. The defense. Let's talk about something positive, right? The defense. The defense was amazing. 13 points should win you a game. That many yards on the ground should win you a game. Like, waiting till the last 2 minutes to get a go-ahead touchdown. Gosh, I mean, you can't ask for much more out of them.
Yeah. This screen. Oh man, that screen on that final drive that Garrett's talking about here.
Oh, is that the one where Amar
watching that on replay again today? Oh my goodness, that could have gone. Like, that was just awful. All right, to the defense. Ryan Effling. Yep, linebackers balled out. Absolutely. These guys, oh man, these guys all played so well. Caleb
Dude,
Francel on that.
Francel's awesome. Dude
Yep.
couldn't say his name in the Fargo Dome, wanted to punch him in the throat because it's like he can't do his job. Graham Spalding, the law firm, we're gonna miss that guy so much. He's been such a kind of a quiet force, and obviously 32, who seems maybe a little quieter this year, all over the place. Those guys are just absolute studs. And think about this. There's another dude on this next team that also came from the same high school as the quarterback and our stud linebacker. They had to be a pretty salty team a few years ago.
Yeah.
Anyway,
AJ Coons. All right.
yeah, there you go.
This one, a little negative on the defense here. The Bison single out Durance in coverage. Yes, they did.
It did seem like that. Yes.
Yep. And Matt, I think he'd tell you the same thing. He was just a step late on a lot of those passes. He'll be better. I mean, Tucker Large is coming back too. We know that Durance is probably a little bit better in the box. He's got that straight line speed. You know, in the one-on-one quick outs like that, that's probably not his game, and that's what NDSU was really doing on him a lot. So they came at him. He'll be better going forward for this one. Took some lumps though last night for sure. So
hey Brian, again, thanks for the place to stay, brother, and the ride home. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Great dude. If you ever get a chance, he has a great tailgate up there too. Deb and Ray and Ryan all got to ride the barrels at their tailgate. It's pretty cool. If you go check out Ray's photos from the game. Sorry.
Yep, you're good. You're good. That blitz. Yep. When there was
well, that was a great blitz.
The blitz, it was awesome. Man, he was right there. That was fun that ESPN2 did show the highlights of those two. You know, Cam tossing a touchdown pass to Bach. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, wouldn't that be weird to see him catching touchdowns? Like,
yeah.
I mean, the dude's an animal. Maybe put him as a let him run a play.
Yeah,
if that's what it takes to get the passing game going, I'm all for it.
Yeah, they said in the interview or during the game, I'm not sure if you saw it or not, but that Cam Miller's favorite play in high school was like the running back middle screen pass to Bach, because it was just like a little 4-yard pass and Adam would house it. So that's kind of cool. Dimez, our friend Dimez says both teams. Oops.
Oh, sorry.
Where'd that go? Both teams relied too heavily on the quarterback run game. Offenses were pretty vanilla. I don't know. I mean, yes, we'd love
that's
to
a product of the defense, isn't it?
Yeah. Both those defenses were dang good last night. I did say this in our group chat on NDSU. Oscar Benson played the game of his life. That guy gets picked on week after week after week for NDSU. NDSU fans have been wanting him benched for the last 3 years, and he played a great game. That tip your cap to that young man, because he played a great game. So good job, Oscar Benson, I guess. Yeah.
I guess I missed it on this game because I didn't look through the statistics quite close enough. But did Marty Brown really get any carries? Because I didn't hear his name at all. Did he?
So Marty Brown,
maybe Brian can chime in.
So
on that.
he had 10 for 33.
Oh, did he?
Rika
Okay.
had 6 for 35. So
okay.
So a 5.8 average and a 3.3 average. Cam had a 2.7 average.
Is his name not Marty? Is that what I'm doing wrong there?
It's Chamar Brown.
Yeah. That's why. Okay.
Yep.
That's my problem. Because when you said the numbers, I was like, oh, I guess yeah. Anyway.
Does a healthy Cam scare you more? Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Because I think NDSU would likely use more design runs with him.
Absolutely.
At some point. I mean, they definitely protected him for the most part, and he was able to scramble decently last night.
Yeah, and I think our guys did a real good job on the interior, not letting there be many running lanes during pass coverage.
Yeah. Hey, the Bryce Lance. Okay. Kept Bryce Lance contained too.
It's true.
So Dallas Beanham can't come off the field on these type of big games unless he's hurt or injured. Like that's, in my opinion, it just can't. We can rotate if we want to on the other side between Humphrey and Stephen Arell and Miles Taylor if we want. You know, I saw some Jalen Lee out there too yesterday, and that's all fine. We can do that if we want, but your best corner has to be out there. Like Dallas needs to stay on the field again, unless he's hurt or completely gassed. Like I don't know. Maybe that's wrong, and people can tell me I'm wrong. I don't care. But yeah. Who else? I thought Jared DePriest again had a nice game. We expected him to have a nice game. He was
He did.
disruptive. He gave the young interior of NDSU some lumps, kind of like we thought he would. I don't know. That's where I'm at. That's where I'm at right now.
I mean, the D. I love the rants and raves who you had for different game balls. So I love how you did that. The whole defense was awesome. Well, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I'm sorry too. I'm just thinking of things I'm going through here. Kobe Herter was great.
Yes, he was. I didn't know.
We're going to miss him next year.
Absolutely.
And I don't know if Cale Reeder's intending to come back or not. We should ask him at some point. But you're going to have a nice rotation back in this at the safety area again. Tucker Large, Durant's, possibly Reeder, the 26. Can't think of his name right now, and Dante Johnson, hopefully. So you're going to have a good young safety room again. But man, Kobe Herter's just really having a terrific senior year. I think he has all conference potential, in my opinion. So,
and speaking of that, I think we're hoping, at least I'm hoping to see Tucker Large come back this next week. So potentially, I know that he's been out for a while, but I think we might see him back, and I'd really like to see. I think that would add a lot, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. Yep. Colton Tilford. Thanks, Seth. Thanks, Darren.
Tilford, yeah.
You got my guys. Okay. We got to talk about special teams here.
Yeah, let's do it. We don't really want to.
No, but so the 50-yard field goal, right? That is a 50-50 shot. Like, and if it's 2 inches further inside, it goes in. It's just the breaks of kicking those long field goals sometimes. What is inexcusable is the drop punt that gave NDSU the ball at midfield. NDSU didn't score off of it, so that was good. But in terms of the field position game, I'm not sure what it did. I'd have to look at the drive chart to see, but we can't make those mistakes.
I'd be interested in looking at that a little closer and see if the ball hit him in the hands weird somehow, because it seemed like it was delivered to the correct place. Like, I don't think that was at all on the long snapper. I think Olivier did a great job there, and it's just like and it didn't seem like he wasn't ready for it either. So maybe sometimes the ball just hits you in the hands wrong.
Yep,
it's terrible, but that is the Bison horseshoe that they've had for years and years that catches us and, kind of pisses us off.
Yep. The penalties on special teams. Yeah, absolutely. Running into the punter. Yep. The blocked field goal or the block extra point. I don't know how that happens. Like that's really frustrating. The block extra point. The whole left interior side of that line absolutely got caved in, just crunched. I want to go back here. So Cole Payton. So did you see? So Cole Payton's arm was dangling as he was running off the field.
No, I was second from top row. So
I think that was Spalding that came in and crunched him pretty good on that tackle, that the one play that he was in, and his shoulder was dangling. His arm was dangling. The announcers didn't highlight it at all, but you could kind of see. I believe it's the right shoulder. I know he's a lefty, but the right shoulder. Yeah, it wasn't good. So
that's too bad. Tough to hear that. He's a good player, right?
Yep. Yep. So,
I mean, the block PAT was that's something. Scott, I don't think our special teams have really been inconsistent this year. They've
just
been
this game,
consistent, this game, right?
Yeah.
If it happens again, well, then we got a problem. But our coach has been doing great with these guys. And one thing that was not lacking yesterday was coverage team. Coverage team was amazing again. Maybe a little too amazing at sometimes. But
yeah. So the one thing I'm wondering about, because there's been a lot of questions here about rematch in playoffs, right? If we play them again, is Polasek going to be able to get them up to this level of like frothing at the mouth like they were last night? Like that was nuts how they were fired up, and he was bonkers too. Like he was out of control.
Yeah. And you're right. Probably not. But at the same time, if our passing game doesn't come together better, I don't know that it matters. Yeah, I mean, the Fargo Dome looked pretty cool. I don't know what it looked like well, people thought it looked pretty cool.
Yep.
For the pregame, did they show that at all on TV?
A little bit. Yep.
They had the light up towels.
Lights. Yeah.
Personally, I've been to the arena for the El Ride circus, and it looked just like that. That's what it looked like to me. I was like, oh, cool, we're at the circus. But, hey, that's probably because I wear blue. So
Yeah.
It was kind of cool. Also looked like a circus.
Yep. Yep. The, and the thing that I think a lot of people brought up, right, is that, at halftime we were up by 2 points, right? It was 9-7.
Yep.
Should have been 10-7. Well, yeah,
more than that.
We're going to say 10-7, but it's kind of like NDSU completely blew every ounce of emotional energy they had in that first half. And for us not to be able to take advantage of that in the second half with any way,
we came out pretty flat on offense.
That was just so disappointing. And I think it was Borg that was like, we're just asking for trouble here by not scoring points and getting some separation here, because eventually we knew, those of us that have survived games in Fargo in the past, we knew this was the shit that was going to happen. This had 2014 energy all over it.
Yep.
So, yeah.
And I said in our chat, I'm like, amazingly, my phone worked great in the Fargo Dome. So people that complain about it, I don't know, get AT&T. But I said in our chat, and you're like, Borg said the same thing. I was like, this is when we need a touchdown.
Yeah.
Get a touchdown.
Yeah. So, all right.
Should we flush this one?
Yeah, let's flush this one. All right. All right.
We got to talk about
Cubbies.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Chad, are we going to go to Cubbies before tailgating on Saturday? I have Miles and Lennon with me on Saturday. So,
I mean, are you going to stop by the tailgate and pick me up?
Yeah, right. No,
I have two other people that are of the other gender that sometimes don't want to, dilly-dally. Sometimes they do want to dilly-dally.
Okay.
Last time I ended up at Cubbies, that's exactly what happened. Is they wanted to go get food, and they're like, "Where should we eat?" And I was like, "Oh, how about Cubbies?"
I know. I'm trying to decide. So Miles came with me to get our shirts, our jacked up shirts, before the UIW game. But I would really like, yes, we can get Ray on here anytime.
I think
Patrick.
We should get Ray on this podcast.
Yeah, perfect, Patrick. Oh yeah, that's their neighbor. Excellent. So yes, Cubbies, best sports bar in South Dakota, in our opinion, and I think most people's opinions. But yeah, I'm going to take my kids there. I'm pretty sure just so they can experience it, get some food. They love chicken wings, so we'll probably get some wings and a bacon cheeseburger for me, something like that. But it's gonna be a great time. So stop into Cubbies before or after the game, get yourself some delicious food and drink, some of the best around, and they'll treat you right. So thank you, Cubbies, for your support.
Can we touch on one last thing?
Yeah,
there was a lot of conferences for the officials, right? Whatever, we have officiating crews that are like this. This is that one. I think we've seen it a time or two. The out of bounds plays, the two ours, theirs, I think they were essentially the same. The catch was probably in bounds, didn't maintain the catch. I know that ours went way faster, and certainly I wasn't really happy about it. Oh, look at this. Look at this. Hey, that's a pretty slick hat there, sir.
Thank you. I like this hat.
Yeah. I'm wearing my Wisconsin New Glarus hat.
Ooh, also very cool. Yeah. What are we talking about? How are things going?
We're just finishing up.
Yeah, just finished. Do you have any just thoughts in general, Dallas, about, or sorry, Chad, you were in the middle of the thought.
I was just finishing with that. We can complain about that call where it looked like he caught the ball, and then people said, well, they didn't show that he didn't catch the ball. Well, we don't get all the angles. We've known that for years in the Fargo Dome, and sometimes those angles aren't available conveniently. Yep. But my understanding is the ball was bobbled in both cases. So it was basically the exact same thing, went both ways. I know Polasek threw his freaking headset into the stands or whatever Alex is saying. Fine. Dude's a baby, I guess. Grow up. That's all I can say. Yes, Zach is coming to cover next week's game. Oh, and Dallas, did you get a chance to watch the game? Were you busy doing hard
No,
work?
I did. I got to watch the whole thing. That was nice. Usually this time of year, I don't get a chance to do that, but I did, which made me happy.
So I went on a rant about the passing game,
Okay.
and people calling us out for not necessarily picking our team. Anything else you want to touch on when it comes to this game?
I could get very frustrated about the people getting frustrated about not picking our team. That is, I don't know if you want to get me going on that.
I mean,
Go where
been
you
fans
want to
for a
go.
long
We have
time.
time. We have
All
time.
right, sounds
Dallas.
good. I mean, we don't need to like completely revisit this, but I'll be honest. If you listen to the shows, I picked North Dakota State to win this game back in August, just preseason. Now, had I been on last week, I don't know which way I would have gone. Alex has put up the timer. No,
I don't think we have it on A Team.
no, but
It's not
okay. I mean, really, we're gonna get frustrated at somebody saying that a team that has won 94 out of the last 100 games at home has a chance to win at home. My God, come on! I mean, give us a break.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a toss-up game. These are, the two best teams in the FCS, if not two of the best three, probably. I mean, if anybody hasn't watched Montana State, they look real good this year. But no, I mean, saying that another team can win doesn't mean you don't support and don't want them to win. My God. So no, that was frustrating. I very much felt like going to, I don't know. I wanted to go to Matt's aid a couple of times on social media, but stayed away from it. I hope that wasn't too cowardly, Matt. But
I think you're good.
I don't know. Again, we all bleed yellow and blue here. 100% think this team is going to win a national championship and three-peat. Figuring some stuff out, and that's how it goes. Now just onto the game here. I really like Matt's breakdown in rants and raves. I don't know that I have a ton beyond that. Obviously, if you guys talked about the passing game, there's 8 million things that go into that, right? We've talked about it, and anybody that has played quarterback, has ever coached, has ever played, knows a quarterback, like they get too much credit and too much blame. So you can't just look at that and go, oh, Mark should have done this or that. You have no idea what Mark is looking at, right? We all hopefully understand that, and that's something I want to make sure that we emphasize. But yeah, it's a little bit peculiar. I really wish that we could see the wide film and get a feel for what's going on. Looks like you guys must have talked about that already, because I'm really curious. A couple of things just didn't seem right. It just didn't. The decision didn't make sense. I don't know, but I trust. We got a great coaching staff, and there's nobody other than number 11, Mark Gronowski, that I would want, fixing whatever's wrong or improving on that. And my general kind of final takeaway from the game is that both teams can always say they left a lot on the field, but I think, in my very biased opinion, the Jackrabbits left more opportunity on the field, and they made a lot of mistakes, a lot of penalties that Jimmy was clearly pissed about post-game. And the fact that, I think we've got the rest of the season to correct that. I feel really good about that, to only lose in that building by 4 points. And again, yes, I think we should beat them every time, and I think we should win every game, but they won whatever it is, 94 out of 100, whatever the ridiculous stat is, that's a hard freaking place to play. It just is. So I know that nobody on either the roster or the coaching staff is going to feel good about what they did. I'm assuming you guys talked about defense played well enough to win. 13 points should always be enough to win the game. But I guarantee the first thing out of Bobbitt's mouth was all we had to do was not allow a 95-yard touchdown drive, and they did, right? So they played, they played excellent all night, but obviously they let that one go at the end. Cam Miller had his one shining moment. Hopefully that's the last one, and we can send him off the field in tears at some point.
Dallas is a defensive player. How do you defend that pass any better than we did? I mean,
I don't know. I don't think you do.
The guy was right there. Other than knowing the ball was coming over your head and throwing your hand up when there's no indication that the ball was there. I mean, that was a perfect pass.
No, it's two good players making a great play. Raja Nelson's a very good player.
Oh yeah. Glad they had him back, because I'm not glad that he beat us, but I'm glad I'm glad we got to play them with more of their talent.
Yeah, I'd rather beat anybody full strength for sure.
Isn't that is an interesting way to use the 4-year rule though, or the 4-game rule that NDSU is doing with him? Did you catch that with Izzo?
Can you do that? Is that just a freshman year deal?
No. So that's you can.
Oh, that's
I mean, players are using that to
about
transfer out, of programs too. So,
hold on, back up. What are we talking about?
So Raja Nelson, they used him at Colorado. They used him for UND, and he did have a bit of an ankle injury, but that's clear. Dom said they're using him for us, and then they're using him for USD. 4 games, and he's going to redshirt and play in the playoffs.
So I think someone that makes rules needs to look at that and realize that's a bunch of crap.
Yeah, well, I mean, it seems like an abuse of the rule, right? So
what's the point? Is he transferring then after this year, and he's just trying to
keep him back? I think they just want to keep him back because he did
for the next year.
He was hurt for a couple of those games. Like he was hurt. So, but interesting.
So. Hey, Dallas, is that an MSU shirt that you're wearing?
It is. I'm wearing. I had my jackrabbit. Over the last 4 days, I wore my horns down, and all of my most of my jackrabbit stuff is dirty from this week, wearing it to work every day. So I went Mavs. They split the hockey team. No one listening cares probably, but split with the University of North Dakota here over the weekend, which is huge. I mean, UND is big time hockey town, storied program. I think they were ranked 5th. So the Mavs split with them. It was awesome.
Yeah. Awesome. Cool. Yeah. All right, so game balls, that's where we were. Offense, I didn't pick anyone. Almost went with Chase Mason because of the touchdown run. That was the highlight of the night on offense. But the stupid penalty, throwing the ball past the line, that kind of knocked that one out. To highlight, though, one of the funniest parts of the night was I missed it live. Chase Mason's touchdown dance as the brawl was
that was awesome. What dance was that? He was over there doing a line dance, like I don't know what it was.
Complete bedlam going on beside him, completely unfazed. God, that was a great video.
And I think out of context college football. Yeah, picked it up too after Sean did it.
I saw a few different outlets post it because if anybody hasn't seen it, it's Chase Mason. It's the end zone angle all the way down, and it zoomed in on him, and he kind of flexes and does this funny little shuffle dance, and then they pan out, and just a melee going on the sideline, and he just doesn't even look. He just does his little shuffle.
I guess it's the Costco dance. I wouldn't know. I'm not soaked in drip or whatever.
Yeah, Alex is younger than us, so that's why we have him around. Yeah,
him and Jake.
Yeah, Jake's all right.
Anyways, not our age.
Yeah, you old guys. All right.
We're the old guys.
Defensively, I went with all 3 linebackers. I know that's a cop-out, Chad, but I could
not choose one in this. I think they earned it.
They were all outstanding in this one. So
how do you differentiate from them in this game? They all had similar games.
I was going to take Francel, though, based on just a couple of the flashiness of a couple of those plays. And anytime my kid is a linebacker, I can rewind to play 4 times and piss him off and go, watch this. Look at him knife through there. He was very Stallbird-esque, honestly. Yeah. He looked really athletic.
Yep. I'm so glad he's healthy this year and getting to enjoy this year. Train. Special teams, I went with Brody Gormley. Coverage, he's just he's a freight train.
Brought to you by Burlington Northern.
Gormley Express. Yep, I'm with you there. He looked very, very athletic looking big dude. So that was a good
Chad, feel free to talk about Northwestern Mutual, and then we'll get into the USD preview.
If you don't or haven't listened to us yet, and you still haven't got your life insurance policy figured out or some retirement goals put together, and you don't know where to go, no better place than Chris and company down here in Sioux Falls at Northwestern Mutual. Come see them. I know maybe it's scary because you don't have a lot. I promise you they don't care. Come down, see them. They'll help you whatever stage you are in your financial planning. If you're at step 1, great. That's the best place to be to start, I guess. And if you got something and you're not happy with what you got, go see those guys. They'll take care of you. So go down to Northwestern Mutual. They're doing a lot with Alex's lemonade stand. Like I said, I already talked about the pudding shots. We got rid of them all. We made a few more bucks. I don't have the money. It actually went home with Brendan and Ariel instead of with me. So there's a few bucks. I mean, anytime we raise a few bucks, it's a few more bucks. So awesome.
There we go.
Northwestern
And
Mutual.
yeah, and we'd love for you to go to the Sioux Falls office. But if you're in Florida, go with our friend Brian Williams down there. He
go
was
see
an
Brian
intern
Williams.
at the Sioux Falls office. But yeah, hit up Brian.
We
Great
raised
guy.
a lot of money for Alex's lemonade stand with Brian Williams last year. Great dude. Go check out Brian Williams.
Yeah.
Do we know, not to put you in the spot, do we know where in Florida he's at? I actually don't know. If not, I'll look it up.
So I wonder if he's back in their home area where him and Zach are from. And they're like in the Panhandle, kind of like close to the Alabama border, is what Zach Wilson said when he's on with Tyler. God, I have a weird memory. How do I remember this?
That's impressive. I don't know what I had for dinner. So,
all right. So let's move on to the Yotes. Dallas, your old rival from back in the day, right?
Tallahassee.
Yeah, it was. I very much wanted to be over them even then. Yeah. And so my flat out, it was funny. I was talking to Josh Steffens, who was a defensive tackle that I played with, very good player out of Blaine, Minnesota. He coached at Minnetonka, and now he's anyway. My son played up at Rogers, and Josh is administrator up there. So I talked to him, and I was texting him during the game, and he was talking about, before the marker game, how much he hates the Bison, and he's like, oh, but not quite as much as the Yotes. And I thought, like, man, I think I've always been the other way, and it was a bit different then because I don't think I was never on a team that beat the Bison, and we lost to UND, probably 4 out of 5 times too, because UND was a, they won the D2 national championship, and they were very, very good at that time too. So I don't know. You're right. It's the historical rival. I think you ask anybody my age or older, and they'll go with the Yotes. But I just would like to pound them into submission and make a statement and take out some feelings this weekend is what I want.
Dallas, do you remember, was it last year we had an argument with one of the basketball players, like from your time, Stobner?
Yes.
Was it right?
No, it wasn't Stubby. It was Volmer. I think it was Cody, right?
Yeah, there we go.
Oh my gosh, that's a name I haven't heard for so long.
Yeah, it was
guy
Cody.
In Duncan cowboy boots. God,
yeah. But it was like, who's the rival? Yeah, that was and for basketball, USD was like for them back in the day. So yeah, anyways, USD started off really slow against Youngstown yesterday. I was able to watch the whole first half of that. Youngstown jumped on them 14-0 and had them reeling. Their defense did not look great right away. And then the offense for them got rolling a little bit. They have some weapons, guys. Like they have some speed. They did not have Travis Tice yesterday. But man alive, like they can stress a defense, and this is going to be a different animal than what we just faced up in Fargo, with how multifaceted they can be. And legitimately, JJ Galbraith is the best tight end in the conference. Carter Bell's a stud. We know that. This Karan Adams, he caught a touchdown pass yesterday, and that guy can move. He's got some legit speed. I don't know what his timed 40 was or anything like that. He has 9 receptions for 245 yards, 27-yard average on the season. So he's got some jets. Chad mentioned AJ Coons, right? 4 catches for him, 103 yards. And Charles Pierre. Yeah.
He's a
Charles
dude.
Pierre, he's leading the conference in touchdowns. He has 12 rushing touchdowns.
Hudson and I got a chance to watch the Yotes in person in Madison week 2 or whenever that was. And I mean, they look good. You could see that the FBS team was kind of sleepwalking a little bit early and had to turn it on, to win by a couple scores. But no, Coyotes held their own. Again, you brought up Galbraith. He absolutely belonged in that game at that level. Like he's every bit of it. I wish I would have taken some notes, but I wasn't really thinking about the Yotes at the time. But Tice, is it Thies or Tice? How does he say it?
Tice.
I've always said Travis Tice. Yeah.
Okay, so I've known people with that, and I've heard people pronounce it Thies and Tice both. All right, we'll go with Tice. He had a terrific game. If I recall, he really stood out. Runs low. is able to kind of duck under tackles and things. Obviously, we've seen him before. I think he crossed the 3,000 yard mark a couple of weeks ago.
Yep.
But yeah,
nice
I mean,
career.
yes, very nice career. And as much as I ragged on these guys coming into the season and thought they were going to be overhyped, I mean, they haven't faltered yet. They look pretty good.
The one thing I've noticed with them is every year I always say, I think USD is better in the trenches this year. I think they're a little better. I think this year they're gettable. Their tackles are gettable.
Yeah.
Youngstown's ends were living in the backfield, really pressing Bauman in that first half. No idea what happened in the second half, but we know Youngstown is not very deep. So it wouldn't shock me if that slowed down a little bit. But I'll credit USD's offensive line. They do look leaner than they have in past years. In past years, they've kind of looked a little sloppy, a little wasty, as Ben likes when I say that. But no, they look better this year. So their conditioning staff, I think, has got them guys leaned down a little bit more.
Okay. Well, hopefully they're gettable, because there was one takeaway that I had from that game against the Badgers. But again, you line up anybody against a Wisconsin line, and I mean, anybody that's watched the Big Ten, Wisconsin squeezes elephants into jerseys and trots them out. Like, it's the biggest damn bunch of humans you're ever going to see. I mean, the nation's offensive line comes from Wisconsin, basically. But no, they definitely looked a little susceptible. And they definitely early in the game, I watched a good chunk of the game yesterday, and they were not on to start for sure. They just looked a little disjointed, a little slow. And I didn't watch the end of it, so I'm not sure. They must have got it together a bit.
Yep. And we haven't even mentioned Aiden Bauman yet. And they don't ask him to do a lot. They don't put him in really super stressful situations. Josh Davis, our friend Josh Davis, is doing a good job of designing that offense to get their playmakers in space. And Aiden's delivering the ball. He's kind of playing that point guard position, and that's what he's doing.
I mean, you look up and down. Sorry, Chad. You look up and down the stat sheet most of the games, and he's like a 15 for 19. 14 for 20. Like, I mean, it's very solid completion percentage, 2 touchdowns. I don't know what he's got for picks on the year, but just he does exactly what he needs to do. 0?
Yeah.
No,
I think so.
He has one. He's listed
1.
Still, that's impressive.
Yeah.
His efficiency is 171.4 is his QBR, so that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Is that good?
That's good. Yeah, average yards per game of almost 200. That's not terrible.
No, it's not. I mean, that's what we last year. We averaged basically 200 yards receiving, 200 or rushing, 200 yards passing. So that's.
Yep. And while he may not be a running threat, he has shown in the past that he can get out, move with his legs. So you got to still respect that. I mean, he hasn't ran a ton this year, but dude's got pretty stealthy speed. He's tall and lanky. Maybe we call him wasty too.
and Chad, I said our friend Josh Davis, but I could say our friend Aiden Bauman too, right? We had a beer with him.
That was a good dude.
Oh, really? When was that?
I don't know if he drank a beer, but we definitely did.
Well, yeah, we had a beer with him. Yeah. It was at the local. Yeah, it was at the local
cool.
For our
good
show.
Dude.
They were at our show. Yeah.
Garrett, Tom Brady. Yeah, he's playing. I don't know if he's that good. I mean, but I think a better. I get what he's saying. I think a better comp's probably the dude that couldn't run, but yeah, maybe Tom Brady.
Like Ben Roethlisberger? I don't know.
Nah, well, I mean, he's a big dude.
He's big,
big dude.
Yeah.
He's not little. I didn't feel tall around him. I definitely felt fat. That's not the kind of thing he is.
All right, let's flip over to the defensive side of the ball. Dallas, who stood out to you when you watched it yesterday? Because I have a player in mind that shocked me with how he was playing.
Oh, I don't know. I like that Gates. I don't know that I have anybody in particular, though, that I saw yesterday.
All right. So these guys have 2 nasty defensive ends. Nick Gaze has 6 sacks. We know that. He's a good pass rusher.
What about
that
Garrett?
Number 90, Mikeese Grace?
Yeah.
He looks like a freak. He's built like a freak, and he had 2 sacks alone just yesterday and was living in that backfield. And we know that Youngstown's offensive line is a mess. Right, we know that it's a mess, but he looks the part. He's a first off the bus kind of guy. So That's where I'm starting. Is that the defensive end? Our tackles are going to have some work cut out for him in this one.
I mean, he's seven tackles for loss this year. That's nothing to sneeze at. That's one per game.
You know, I blew it, Mac. You set me up again. Asked me who I liked on defense yesterday.
So who'd you like on defense yesterday, Dallas?
You know that Marquise Grace. He really jumps off the page. He just again first off the bus kind of guy. Very very rangy, very athletic, and you can just see that build sometimes. And just an explosive player. No, you are right. I did notice him now that you talked about that.
Dennis Shorter's still there, always a good player. They got that Gary Bryant that's been playing really well too. He's at 3 tackles for loss and an INT and 3 breakups. So that's
he's I don't remember him. Well. Is he corner?
He's DB.
Yeah. Hey, and early in the year, we didn't think Shahid Barros was going to be back. He's playing.
Yep.
He's played in 5 games. It looks like here on the stat sheet, and I just yesterday was the first time I heard his name, and so Barros got hurt in our game with him last year. He was the one that was actually outplaying their draft pick corner. Barros was their top corner last year, so he's probably getting his legs under him and getting a little more confident with that knee. So,
which is just what you want when you've got a.
Yeah, I know.
I'm not gonna say it.
Yeah.
When you're out of Massachusetts, how do you wind up in Vermilion, South Dakota from Massachusetts?
Shahid?
No other options?
Yeah.
They do some really good recruiting on the East Coast. I don't understand it either.
I wonder what the connection is.
How does anyone end up in Vermilion, South Dakota?
You're on your way to Yankton?
You got to drive off the interstate away.
Break down.
Play at a wastewater treatment plant. Just shy of Spirit Mound. Whatever. It's kind of a weird place.
Oh, man. All right. And special teams wise, Will Leland kind of struggled to start the year on his kicks. Seems to stabilize a little bit, but he was their all-conference kicker last year or something like that. A very good kicker for USD. So special teams wise, they're dangerous in the return game as well. The Logan kid is very explosive. This is a good team, guys. Like this, we can't just go into this game saying we're going to steamroll USD. We can be confident because we believe in our guys. But this is going to be a good game. So,
yeah, we're certainly not just going to step onto the field and win it. I mean, it felt like at times we had a little bit of that attitude yesterday. I almost said step off the bus, but obviously we're at home. So that tells you where my head was. I was thinking back to yesterday again already.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to earn it. Yeah, they're gonna make you earn it.
Yep. So, yeah, go ahead, Dallas.
I was gonna say I wanted to get to just kind of general team approach and what maybe you guys thought we were going to do going into this here quick. I don't know. I mean, I the number of people that I've talked to that have immediately said, man, I feel sorry for the Coyotes next weekend because you got to assume that this team is going to be pissed and focused and ready to go. And it's going to be an intense week of practice. Not that they aren't normally intense, obviously with Jimmy at the helm, but you could see post game how frustrated and how personally Jimmy took that. And I think that that's going to bleed through top to bottom in the way that they come into this game.
And it is going to be intense, right? I bet it's intense in the meetings and walkthroughs, but they're going to rest these bodies this week. That was a physical contest. So I wouldn't worry too much about that, like the physicality or the approach in practice, but this team is going to be ready to go on our side. I don't think there's going to be a hangover by any means. They're going to actually want to get out and get the bad taste out of their mouth. I think we can run the ball on these guys. Brungard really played well, so the Chase Mason package might be there. I'd like to see Chase throw the ball.
Throw the ball
off of it.
Please throw the ball.
And I do think Amar and Angel are going to have some opportunities
the line of
too.
scrimmage, preferably. Sorry.
Oh, man.
Not to pick on you, but that one was so good. I'm
Chad,
frustrated.
Turn the page. We've gone through. We've broken down film. We've exercised the demons and talked about it. Now it's time to move on.
So, I think take care of the ball, right? USD is still kind of how they were a couple of years ago. They don't spend a lot of time possessing the ball. So if we can, go on some long marches down the field and put up points, that's a good recipe to win any game. But I really like it in this one too.
Yeah.
So
I got a sound for you, a sound bite based on what you said. Right here. I'll play it.
And it became personal with me. And it became personal with me. And it became personal with me.
Sorry, I can't hear become personal. What is it?
Yeah, it became personal with me.
Oh,
I guess
got
it was
it.
quieter than I thought.
Got it.
Michael Jordan, and I took that personally.
Yes.
Sorry.
No, that's exactly it. Now, one thing that I would, we're at 9:00 here. I don't need to drone on forever, but something I'd be curious to see what the approach will be is my initial reaction would be like anybody that gets a penalty needs to walk off and have like paintball shot at him or something. Immediately on the sideline, but you can't have people playing tight, right? You can't be tentative. You have to still play loose and fast and confident. So I'm curious how Jimmy, how the how the coordinators, how the position coaches, how Chris Crock, how they approach that going into this game.
Yep. The atmosphere is going to be bonkers. It's I mean, this has been sold out since August. And, tickets went on the extra tickets went on a small little resale last week and they were gone very quickly for a complete sellout. There's going to be a ton of blue here. I mean, USD can't even sell tickets at their own stadium. So I'd anticipate a ton of blue. But
what percent red do you think we see? 5?
That would be generous, I think.
So what that would be.
I don't think they sell out our section. Well, I mean they can't because we're there, but I mean, but I think
I see what you're saying, yeah. Oh, he froze. Did I freeze? Nope.
No,
just
we have the
Chad froze. Oh.
There we go. He's back.
Yeah, he's back.
Yeah, my wife's watching TV, I think. So
the internet hiccuped. No, yeah, I don't know. I mean, can they get 1,000 people come up buy tickets? Is that? I mean, that'd be your 5%.
That's fair.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
I'm just curious.
Let's give them 2.5%.
If this happened, I don't like this. If this happens, plenty is there getting free tickets from Jack's fans' friends. Do you know how much tickets are reselling for? Oh, man.
You're stupid if you're giving them away, first of all. Second of all, give them to anybody else. Come by and tell me you're giving your friend that's a USD fan, and I'll have a kick for you in the shins.
Yeah, no pudding shots for you. Yeah.
Nope.
I'm not the pudding shot Nazi. I'm pudding shot Santa.
All right. Let's do some predictions. Chad, where are you going to go offensively? Oh, and hold on. Who do we got here? Jim Poppin. You are picking for Jake tonight. So get your picks in, Jim.
We could make Alex pick for him too, but anyway. I guess.
Nah, we go with guests. Yeah.
For offense, well, I'd like to see GFW get one. I think we're going to try and show that we can pass, honestly, because, well, I know the coaches don't really listen to this show, but if they do, they'll hate me, and I don't care. There's lots of people that don't like me. No, I think we've been fair in our criticism, but I still think they're going to come out with something to prove with our offense, with our passing game. And so I'm going to pick Griffin Wilde because I think he can excel and he needs the ball. Jim picks Amar. Obviously he's great. So that's not a stretch.
I'm going to go with I'm going to go with Berenson.
Nice.
Ooh.
Nice. I like it.
And how do you prove that one and back it up? I like it.
He just dominates the line of scrimmage. You see some pancakes on the screen.
He might have earned Offensive Player of the Week this year defending Mark.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was actually going to say that from this week that we don't have access to. I mean, don't have the time to break down the film, and there was some movement on the line, and Mark had decent pockets a lot of the day. So there might have been a few old linemen that played extremely well in this game, and we just don't ever get to see that.
That's true. Good point. Yeah, because you didn't hear Eli Mostart's name hardly at all, except that screen that he tracked down.
Yep.
So,
And that's a pretty good indicator that somebody did their job, but
yeah, good point,
such,
Dallas.
such
Good
an unsung position.
Well, we flushed that one. Remember, Dallas?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Damn it, you got me. All right. So this week,
heard about fair play.
I actually was thinking of Mar. We already got a Mar pick. I'm gonna go with Mark. I think he comes out at home. Bad taste in the mouth from last week. Mark Gronowski.
All right, Dallas. Let's just roll right over to defense.
Dallas
Who you
beat
going
'em.
with on defense? All right. Oh, jeez. All right.
0 questions.
0 questions.
I am gonna go with. I'm gonna go with Ripperda. I'm going with Rip. I know he got hurt.
I was going to ask,
banged
did
up,
he come
but
out hurt? Did he get back
Yeah.
in the game? Because I
I
couldn't
don't
see.
know. So if it's not Ripperda, it's gonna be someone else on the defensive end spot.
Randy K? You take Randy K instead?
No, I'm sticking with Rip. So
I
we'll
mean,
see
if
who's out there.
he's hurt.
Oh, I would
Yeah,
love
yeah.
to see Randy K just go off against his last
Yeah.
time against the Yotes.
Yeah, there we go.
We'll call him Special K if he does it. Let's go.
Yeah, there we go. All right. Jake, so Jim, who you got, buddy?
He already said at the law firm.
Oh, law firm. Of course he said law firm. Of
Yeah.
course. Yeah. Yeah.
He got some pictures with him after the game. Good dude.
Gosh, that's awesome. All right. And Chad.
You know, I'd like to see Tucker Large back, and if he comes back, I'll take him. But if not, 32 is my guy.
Okay.
Fair.
All right. And Jim got his score prediction in already, 38-27. Good job, Jim. I'm thinking right in that area too. I'm going to go 32-24. 32-24 was my prediction. Dallas.
I'm going to go Jackrabbits 31-17.
117. All right, Chad.
I'm going to go a little bit more of a score fest with 42-28. And just to touch on this, Ron Lowney brings up that Brendan didn't go last night. There are more than one person on this chat that can prove that he didn't have a voice. He sounded like this at the beginning of tailgating. So he has some kind of laryngitis or something. We don't know what caused it. He was fine all day. We're driving up there. It was no big deal. And then all of a sudden, it's like the whiskey cokes that he was drinking took his voice away. So
Crazy how that happens.
Before tailgating,
Jack Daniels took his voice.
It was literally Jack Daniels, by the way.
Oh, that's funny. Moldy pocket.
Steve
cheese.
Anderson says moldy pocket.
Yes. Hey, this is how you know Steve Anderson is a longtime listener. Right there. Thank you, Steve. That made my night. 38-14 Jamal. There we go. Oh, man. Stay with milk.
Well, he didn't have milk, so maybe that's the problem. Yeah.
Oh, man.
Does a body good, right? Anyway.
Yeah. All right. Well, this has been good. I feel much better about everything.
Little
now,
therapy.
so-
I say
this has been good
cathartic,
therapy.
I think is the word you're looking for.
Yeah, there we go. And
Now,
hopefully
don't go
everyone
back
here
and
with
watch
us.
my rant. Just don't.
Yeah.
Save yourself the time. You know.
Right.
So I do want to say something here though, quick. So everyone, Chad defended me earlier, Dallas defended me earlier, but I gotta say something too. So we love the Jacks. I mean, that shouldn't ever be questioned. To do that is really silly. I didn't take
Mildly
that
offensive. Let's
Yeah.
put it that way.
I didn't take that pick lightly last week, or I didn't do it for shock value or anything like that. I thought NDSU was going to come out fired up just as they did. And if you paid attention to how Polisek's been talking about this matchup since the day of his press conference, you knew that they were going to be fired up. So NDSU is just as talented. They've won just as many recruiting battles as us. On the players that are actually playing this year, we kicked their ass on the recruiting front, but that is what it is. So, you know, I'm always going to cheer for the Jacks. So to hint otherwise is pretty stupid.
Yep.
So we'll just leave it at that.
It was insulting, made me mad,
Yeah.
but time to move on.
Yep. So should be fun, and we're gonna have a ton of fun on Saturday. Dallas, you coming on Saturday? You coming over?
No, my son plays at 3 p.m.
That's right.
on Saturday. Thank you, Minnesota State High School League. What the hell?
Yeah.
But yes, so I'll have Tyler in one ear as I watch my son.
Yeah. Sounds good. Good luck, Hudson. Good luck, Dallas.
Appreciate that.
Keep us updated. So,
Will do.
all right. With that, go big, go blue,
Go Jacks.
Always.